Hello and welcome to Vision Denial. My name is Sam and this is Road to MSI Meet the Teams. Today we're going to be discussing LJL's Detonation FocusMe. It seems to be the only team this region can get to represent them. If you're new to this for Dealer Series, I've watched every single playoff game from every region participating, save for Winter Split in LEC. Didn't seem super relevant. That said, if you're going to look into the stats that I've done, I put a link down below for all of those details. Feel free to look it over. And without further ado, let's meet the juggernauts of the LJL, Detonation FocusMe. Let's start with the coaching staff and style of the team. We've got over here Kazu, the French-Japanese support player that has jumped around between being a player and a coach since 2014, spending the majority of his career in this particular organization. Looking over the playstyles of Detonation FocusMe, first thing you're going to be hit with is a lot of very impressive looking stats on the surface. Second in game duration, third in gold per minute, first in gold at 15, second in turrets, or in first turret, first in damage per minute, first in blood, second in plates, but then 10th in drakes and 11th in baron, but first in heralds. And you start to look at this particular situation and go, oh, right, this is from a team that has darn near zero competition. They are so dominant within the region that much in terms of drakes being taken and barons being taken is so rare and so minuscule compared to literally every other team that they usually don't ever get to the point where they could even match and regulate. So it's just a matter of seeing if they can even survive playing games that long, or if somehow they manage to keep up their pace and playing an incredible fast game. Let's meet the top laner of Detonation FocusMe. Toll 2 has been an academy player jumping between Axis then to Detonation FocusMe, mostly then coming in for the 13th season for DFM, replacing some pretty big shoes in Evi. Now, to preface, Toll 2 here, some of the stats are really rough. Other than his KDA and damage per minute, he is last. CS per minute, gold per minute, kill participation, kill share, gold share, and as a player has been given a large amount of pleasure of having to play isolated games without any particular interruptions. No one in the LJL has been able to compete with him or with Detonation FocusMe as a whole, and so going into MSI, and honestly, every other top laner stats just being markedly better than his, and it's just, this could be a fairly large weak point for Detonation, but that depends if he can actually translate much of anything that wasn't there as a competition previously. Let's meet Detonation FocusMe's jungler, Steel. Steel has been part of the Detonation FocusMe since leaving Millennium in 2017, a part of a long-standing member of the squad, something that's not too unfamiliar with them. Now, looking at particularly his stats compared to the other junglers that are coming there, and then we see something that's a little bit more familiar. Third in KDA, fourth in gold per minute, third in damage per minute, sixth in kill participation. He's got a standard champion pool size amongst other junglers. He's ninth in kill share, goal share, and CS per minute, but it's primarily from his skirmishing against other junglers. He has had the luxury of being able to bully other junglers within the LGL, and it will be interesting to see whether his high stakes, high pressure gameplay will translate to MSI, where it is more likely to compete with other junglers that have laners that can back them up. It's going to be interesting because he's gotten away with quite a lot, actually. Let's meet the mid laner of Detonation FocusMe, Arya. Rejoining Detonation FocusMe after a year with KT Rolster, Arya is a pretty familiar face to many Detonation fans. And in comparison, a strong facilitator. Looking at his stats, you may be thinking this is the mid laner to beat. First in KDA, first in gold per minute, second in CS per minute, second in damage per minute, second in kill share and gold share, third in kill participation, eighth in champion pool, which rounds up to be about average for where most of his contemporaries are. But then you really look at the lack of competition the LJL provides towards Detonation FocusMe, and you see this as Arya really stepping up to the plate to create so much space. And given how much influence he holds for his team, it'll be really interesting to see him play against the other stacked names we have lined up for this particular tournament, or if Detonation's dependence on him will be their downfall at the end of it. Let's meet the bot laner of Detonation FocusMe, Udapon. Holding the second longest continuous tenure at a single organization for any player, beaten only by Faker, Udapon is the face of Detonation FocusMe. And looking at this, you'd think that the star player of Detonation FocusMe would boast something that would be incredible, especially compared to his other contemporaries, and given how dominant his team is. And yet, the only thing that's notable is his KDA. His CS per minute, gold per minute, damage per minute, kill share, kill participation, all rank average or below average. And honestly, for holding the same amount of resources as Arya within the team, Udapon is more of a cleanup player than the central focus. But it'll be interesting to see how he manages against his contemporaries who boast stronger and more consistent presence than he does. Let's meet the support player for Detonation FocusMe, Harp. This Korean support may be better known for his time with KT Rollsters, but has found some solid success with Detonation FocusMe since joining them for Season 12. Some comparisons with his other contemporaries: second in KDA, he's very efficient with the way that he roams, but his kill participation is fairly shallow, even though his champion pool is fourth. His vision denial is also fourth, and his vision control a little less so. Now, this particular support is really going to come up too close and personal, especially since that's the way he likes to approach neutrals and roaming around in the early game. But it also winds up getting him killed every so often, but his KDA shows that he knows how to evaluate that risk. The vision denial he and his team applies is great and allows them to really manipulate how their opponents are to approach them during the game, but they wind up playing in the dark more often than not as well, with their very lackluster vision approach. Detonation FocusMe has been the dominant team in the LJL for so long, and while each international tournament they qualify for is them stepping up, improving just bit by bit, there isn't anything here that convinces me they could get past round 1 of the best of 5 portion, if they get there really. Between poor vision control, the question marks around Toll 2, and how they don't necessarily play late game all that often, leads me to wonder if they're really ready for some of these teams and how they approach the game. None of them are pushovers. Not a single one. Detonation FocusMe is going to need to know how to play around that. You let me know what you think in the comments down below. Do you think they'll have the chance and ability to get there? Love to hear your thoughts as they go. If you want to see how some of the stats I've procured or how I read them, you can see them in the comments down below. With that, we'll see you next time for MSI. Bye. Thank you again for watching. Greatly appreciated. These kinds of videos take quite a bit of time. If you're interested, we've got over here more videos about the other teams that have qualified for MSI, and if you're curious about the process in which I've watched every single playoff, here's a playlist of the road itself to MSI. If you have any particular thoughts, comments, or predictions, I'd love to hear those things down below, and if you care to, right below over here, this little button, you can click on it and subscribe. Thank you.